been having some really interesting conversations the last couple of days. And I think I've come to a realization as to why we burn out on our podcasts, on our businesses, and social media. And some of the major triggers I'm having right now that really had me wondering why I was still podcasting, why I was still making offers. And if I'm thinking this, I know you're thinking this too. So if you are being triggered by things people are saying on social media or on podcasts, and it's making you want to pod fade away, why is anyone listening? How come this isn't happening? Why can't I make money? This episode is going to be for you. Welcome to the Cure for Podfade. I am so excited you found your way here because that means you know how powerful podcasting can be. You are ready to build a legacy with your unique story, your message, and your offer, but you're getting a little overwhelmed. You're feeling frustrated, you're feeling stuck. You just don't know how to grow your show, find a new audience, and make some money. Podcasting can be the ticket to the life of your dreams, and it doesn't have to be as hard as you think. We're talking about all the ingredients it takes to be a successful, profitable podcaster without that icky overwhelm, because you are too magical to join the 85% plus club that pod fades away. I'm your host, Jen Dragonette, so let's make podcasting easy peasy lemon squeezy. When you get triggered, I want you to start paying attention. And right now with Black Friday, I am freaking triggered. Trigger. I realized something when I sat with these triggers is that I'm being triggered by the podcast I'm listening to and by being on social media because I'm not where people are saying they are. What does this mean? Whenever I open social media right now, it's I made $10,000 in a day, make $16,000 this week. I made $100K this year. We are inundated with these messages. The same with podcasts. If you're listening to them, how I made $100K this month, how I did this, make money. We are so hyper-focused on making money that we have attached our worth to money. We have attached our ability to share our messages and make an impact to this ability to make money. Yes, it's true. The more money we make, the bigger impact we can create. However, if you are being triggered by all of these posts, by all of these people saying they're making so much money, and no matter how hard and how burnt out you are, you just can't make it work, I get it. I'm there. Because it's so frustrating when you look online and you see somebody say, congratulations, or celebrating themselves for 1 million downloads, or you see somebody online who for Black Friday made $10,000 in one day and you're like, I didn't even make one sale. It's hard. And it's hard to not want to compare yourself. But there's a few things I want you to think about. First, when you look at your social media feed, it's your highlight reel of your life. Therefore, it's their highlight reel of their life. Some of the things that you don't know that they might not be telling you is the honest truth. Did that $10,000 really end up in their pocket? Or is that $10,000 what they made for the day and they spent $9,598 on ads? We don't know. And this keeps coming up, and I have a ton of clients that talk about this, but this fantasy marketing, it happens a lot where there's not full transparency. And I think part of this is unintentionally, but I think a big part of it is intentionally. I know this is one of the things that I struggle with the most and why I have not been showing up online, because every time I open the app, people are making $10,000 in a week. And I'm like, okay, I had an $11,000 month once. I'm not going to lie. I won't sit here and lie to you and say I have the most money in the world. I'm constantly making 5-figure months, all that kind of stuff, because that's total bullshit. 100% bullshit. And I'm not here to do that for you. But what I can tell you is that I can pay my bills. I have a little bit extra for comfort, but my number and your number are going to look different. And there is this, what do I even want to call it? There's this problem with seeing all of these and getting stuck in this comparison. And what's happening is, I honestly think this is a huge part of podfade, is that we think everyone else is doing better than what they really are. I know that I had a client that reached 1 million downloads, and she didn't want to share that she reached 1 million downloads because she thought that her show should have more downloads. And in comparison to all these other people that are in her same neighborhood, as I call it, we know we don't do competition here. We do others in our neighborhood that are doing something similar to us, but they're not you, so they're not the same. But she didn't even want to share this huge milestone celebration because it wasn't good enough. I was like, holy shit, 1 million downloads? That's great. Yeah, it took you some time to get there. It makes me sad. It makes me sad that when I hit my 11K month, I didn't want to celebrate it because I didn't want people to know that I wasn't already making that kind of money. Do I have a production business that it does pretty well for itself? Heck yeah. Shout out to my 3 new clients. You guys rock. I love you. Signed three new clients last week. Hello. Can't wait to share them with you. But when you're looking online and you're looking at these things, we need to start looking at what could possibly be behind that. Whether that's them spending a ton of money on ads, whether that's them in massive amounts of debt, but having huge wins in the front side. I know that I have another client that had some really big guests. I'm talking really big. Everyone knows them, whether they're in business or not, on their podcast. And they seemed like they were doing great. Secrets out, they probably had 50 to 60 downloads on their show every week. That was it. Yet they were still a top 2% podcast in the world with 50 to 60 downloads a week. When my other show hit around 50 downloads a week after a year in, we were in the top 5%. So we're so focused on these numbers, whether that's the number in our bank account, that's the number of downloads, that's the number of all these things that we're comparing ourselves to. We're fading out because we don't feel worthy. We don't feel good enough. We don't feel like what we're doing is making a big enough impact. And this is really hard. And this is a really sad realization, especially for me right now, because I'm like, okay, my business from last year to this year, our profits, like the money I actually get to put in my pocket, is about 5 times more than it was last year. Yet I don't feel good enough. I don't feel like I'm making an impact. Why bother showing up? Why bother sharing about my book? Why bother sharing about my message? Why be the cure for podfade? Look at all these people that are making 10K days, blah, 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 blah. And I have been in a funk. And I have been very honest about that. And I think that the solution to this is really looking at this for what it is. And what it is, people are putting things out there. Are there people making that kind of money? Yes. But if that many people that were out there were making that kind of money, there's so much fakeness out there. There's so much fantasy out there because they want you to buy their stuff. They want you to feel like you can have this next level, which is great. You can. But it's work. You gotta be a bit crazy to be an entrepreneur. Let's be honest. Crazy town here. And you have to be able to also put those horse blinders on and move forward, because you are going to get inundated with things from the outside that are going to make you feel like you are not doing enough. You are not worthy. I loved when I went down to the Abundance League with Project Me with Tiffany Carter. I loved going down to the mastermind this year in September. Because what happened is the more we allowed ourselves to play, the more creativity, the more money, the more everything came in. And her massive message of make more, work less, I'll put the link in the show notes for you. But it's true. We need to stop focusing on all these other things and pigeonholing ourselves and going from one person to the next person to the next person saying, I'm going to buy this program. Hey, I did it. I bought all the programs. I fell into all the marketing. Like, I made 10K days. You can do this too. Buy my course. Buy my program. Hey, spend a day with me. I think I paid $5,000 for 3.5 hours with somebody before. And what did I get out of that? Oh, your offer is great. You're doing great. Like, high five. Here's a few little tweaks. But did it turn into 10K day? No. That's still part of the debt that I'm paying off. Let's be real. So what I want you to do for the next month, I challenge you to do this because right now is November 30th. I challenge you to, for the next month, when you see one of those posts and you get triggered, think about what it took to get there. Think about the facts and the facts you don't know about that specific number, whether it's downloads or profits. We don't know the specifics. We don't know if they paid money for ads. We don't know if they have a huge staff on the back end and they're not breaking even. We don't know if they're carrying massive amounts of debt because their debt to income ratio is garbage. We don't know any of that. We don't know if they have purchased downloads because, hey, I tried it just because I wanted to see what it was like. One of those Apple promoters, quote unquote, pay me $125 and I'll get you 30,000 downloads in a month. Hey, I got 30,000 downloads. They were supposed to be Apple downloads, but you know what? Apple didn't recognize the downloads. Only Libsyn did. So what did that really get me? Got me like $125 broker, but it did get me that little ego boost of like, ooh, I got an extra 30K downloads this month. But you know what that got me? In the end, nothing. So you don't know how people are getting there. You don't know the process behind it. We're all on our own journeys. So you have to do some real soul searching when you get triggered by other people of what is this? And it was triggering me because with the money thing, 10K in one day, I wasn't feeling worthy. I wasn't feeling enough. I was feeling like, oh my goodness, I have a master's degree. I have 7 different certifications. I've had all of these clients. I've launched 50 plus podcasts. Combined, we probably all have 15 to 20 million downloads between all the podcasts that I've launched or take care of. And what does that get me? Well, right now, it gets me paying half my bills. That's awesome. But then I see these people that are like, I made $10 in selling courses. And I'm like, oh, well, what am I doing wrong? And then I get stuck in that shame cycle of what am I doing wrong? And you know what happens? I shut down, I don't show up, and guess what happens when you don't show up? You don't make the money, and you start hiding, and you feel not good enough. So I really challenge you for the next 30 days when you get triggered by something, see where that thought goes. See where that piece comes in. Why is it triggering you? What is it triggering? And how can you make a change so that you can push through, so you can continue to show up in your brightness, in your uniqueness, in your goddess-like power, and actually share your message, because your story is someone's life raft. Holy crap, I just mentioned the name of my book. I know, I'm afraid of that too. I got some feedback, didn't like it, so I shut it down. But I want you to stop shutting it down. I want you to really think about the impact you're making. Whether you have 30 downloads or you have thousands of downloads, I don't care. If somebody came into a room every week, you stood up in front of a room of 30 people every week and they listened to your message, would that be enough? If you could impact one person, would that be enough? And I know this is a hard one because it's what I'm struggling with. That's why I'm sharing it. But if you are getting triggered by those people's numbers online, how did they get there? We don't know the facts. We don't know if they've purchased them. We don't know if we just don't know. If you can, try to put those blinders on and think about the greatness that you have created, the people that you have impacted. Even if you're brand new or you've been doing this for a while and you have made one impact on your life, on someone else's life, you're winning. So that's my message for you today as we end this November 2023. Holy crap. How is tomorrow, December 1st? We got 1 month left of 2023. Anybody else feel like these last few years have been like a blur of crazy drama? Anyways, I want you to think of your triggers as a potential cure for podfade, because if you're triggered, you're learning. The more you go deep, the more you can succeed. Because once you make peace with, hey, this might not all be reality. We don't know all the facts. They're going to glorify it just like we put online. I mean, I posted online for years, like, happy anniversary, all these things. And here we sit, not happy, making some big changes in my life. But outwardly, everything looks great. So you never know what's going on behind the scenes, whether that's in your business, in your relationships, in your life. So know you're doing a great job. You're pretty freaking amazing, and I love you. So share your message. Be that life raft for somebody who needs you. While they're sitting out there drowning and going under the water, that's why you do your podcast, your social media, is that person's life raft who is struggling. That person that's trying to keep their heads above water, that can't. Your story, your message, your gifts, what you share with the world, I don't care what you do, will make an impact on someone. So, no matter what you do, no matter where you are, you can do this. And I love you. You are enough. You are worthy. So go out, share your message, share your story, and make an impact, because you are too magical to be a ripple. So it's time to unleash your tsunami of change, and that takes you showing up. All right, I'll see you next week.